Hey guys, welcome to Soul's Journey. I am hopping on another hashtag that I saw over at A Kaylee Sunflower's channel, which is Indie to Mass Market Decks. And I didn't think I was going to have that many that fell into that category, but as usual, I have surprised myself. And I will preface this by saying that almost all the decks I'm going to show, except for one or two, I think two, are the indie versions and not the mass market editions. Because I tend to, or I used to, back a lot of Kickstarters that would then go mass market, and I didn't wait for the mass market edition because sometimes they don't, and then, you know, you can miss out on a really cool deck. But anyway, so let's get started here. This is, whoops, hang on just a sec. Okay, so kicking off, this was one of the very few containers like this that were available for the Keymaster Tarot, which was put out by Stockholm 17 Playing Cards. This has now gone mass market via US Games. And actually this was, let me move the camera up just a sec. Okay. So the box that I got doesn't really fit very well. You can see the corner got kind of chewed up from trying to force the outer shell onto it. So I usually just don't bother. But this was, this is the Kickstarter edition, like I said. Here's the backs. Beautiful. Let's see if we can zoom out just a wee bit. There we go. Beautiful art style. And it has these lines, the gold. And there was no explanation given for what these were. I'm not sure what it comes with now. If it has, whoops, oh, it's just the title card. But the major arcana especially have these lines, and I guess the court cards as well. I also got there's a little mini version of the deck, but I'm not going to bother bringing that out now. Anyway, it's a beautiful deck. And like I said, I think this is put out by US Games at this point. It is pip deck, obviously, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Got the mirror gold edging. Okay, and then of course the well-known Light Seers Tarot by Chrisanne. I don't typically keep the cards in this box, but I just put them in for now for comparison's sake, so you can see what the original packaging and everything looked like. And I think this got picked up by Hay House as well. Oh yeah, I've got number 49 of 2500. Huh, I'm not sure I ever even noticed that. So it did come with this very chunky book, as you can see. And I'm sure everybody by now has seen these cards, so I won't show too many. This edition, the Kickstarter edition, had the green edging. Really thick cardstock. It really is one of the lovelier decks. I know for a while it was everywhere. people got a little tired of seeing it, frankly, so we won't belabor this too much. Like I said, this is the Kickstarter edition. Okay, so here's one I nearly forgot about. Pixie's Astounding Mademoiselle Lenormand cards by Ed Zabrowski, I think. This has now been picked up by US Games, or actually quite some time ago. Oops, am I upside down here? Yes. So this is a fun little Lenormand. It uses selections of the illustrations by Pixie, Pamela Coleman Smith. You can see this is kind of a collage of the, I think it's the Four of Wands and the Lion from the Strength card and the Sun card and the Ace of Cups. I'm not sure I ever did a full walkthrough of this. They've changed it now. They did alter the deck when US Games printed it. I forget what the differences are, but it's fairly marked. It's quite a bit different from the indie version. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I never did get the mass market version though. Okay, next up, Goetia Tarot in Darkness. Every time somebody runs across this, they run across the my walkthrough that I did when I first got this deck, they want to buy it. And right off the bat, I'm going to say I am not selling this deck at the present time. The day may come, but that day is not today. So it came with this very decent book. This was done by Fabio Lustrani, who also did the several other decks. And if you want to see the full walkthrough, I'm not going to show too many of the cards. Sorry about the glare from the overhead light. But you can see the coating that it's got. And it features each of the demons from the Goetia. And when it's not under the lights, you don't get so much of this. So it's not, like going to blind you when you're working with it or anything. Yeah. So it came in this kind of a box. And like I said, this is the Kickstarter edition. I know Los Scarabeo was selling off the last few copies they had of it. I do not know if they have any left. You can check their website. I think I did link to it for a couple of people. But you can go and check the comments on my original walkthrough for that if you want. So, Goetia Tarot in Darkness. And one of my favorites, let's zoom in again here, the Anna K Tarot. I think I have the second edition. This also is an indie version that I got directly from her, from Anna K. It came with this little book. And I do love this deck. I think I showed this in my autumn decks. I love the colors in this deck. Oops. This is the backs. I don't know if I'm sure they changed the backs for the mass market edition. This is pretty good cardstock. This is pretty thick. Just a lovely little deck. I like it a lot. And it came in this box with the 2 wells, which is not my favorite, but lovely deck. And next up, I do actually have the indie version and a copy of the mass market version of the Wild Unknown. So I'm just going to show you some of the cards from the indie version. I think this was the second printing, although I can't seem to find any date or anything. This is all that it came with as far as a booklet, just this little fold out. The backs. This was the indie backs, or at least on this edition. I'm not sure about the first edition. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this was the second printing. Although I don't know if it differed at all from the first, but I know there were changes made to the mass market edition. I think there was more color added, and some of the illustrations were changed very much. And just take a quick look at some of the mass market cards just to see if any of them are very striking. So this came, you can see I don't actually use this one a whole lot. And that's leading me to another. So the mass market edition came with this very large book. Very nice book. And you can see the box covers are a little different. But it did come also in another 2-piece hard box like the original did. So, just pull out a couple of the cards just to see. Okay, so this is the backs on the mass market versus the indie. So I'm not going to do a lot of these. If somebody wants to see a full walkthrough comparison, although there probably are some out there between the two. Yeah, so far no real changes. Cards are the same size. They feel like the same card stock. I think the indie is just a smidge thicker. Just a smidge. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any great differences yet. So we won't belabor that. Okay, next up is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. Whoops, go this way. This is a deck by Lindsay Silverman. And I know I have a full walkthrough of this if you want to see it. No pictures in the book, heavy glossy like magazine kind of pages. These are not in order, so, and again, this is the Kickstarter edition. Came with the mirror gold edging. Not quite as mirror as some of them, but it's more than just the powdery. And none of the figures are actually named. She didn't like pick particular goddesses to put on any of the cards. But it is a very, very beautiful deck. There's the backs. Very good cardstock. I apologize if you're hearing the sirens in the background. I'm not sure what's going on out there. It's not on my street, but it's very loud. Isn't that gorgeous? So that is the Intuitive Night Goddess. Okay. And then we have the Dreamkeepers Tarot. And again, this is the Kickstarter edition. And I think you had to opt for the book. I don't really remember. I've had this one for a number of years now, so I forget exactly what the campaign had. Beautiful book. It's hardcover. Oops. Oh, nice little bookmark. Thank you. This is by Liz Houston. Came in a little tuck box. I don't know what it comes in now. Little fold-out thing. Okay, so the book probably was, probably had to add that on or something. Presentation card. And one of these cards actually supplied. So this is the backs for this version. Trying to get the glare off. So this is the one I was looking for. This might look familiar. This is the little avatar that I have for my channel. That's where it came from. Oops. I love this card. It's just gorgeous. Okay, next up is a funny little deck that I bought from the creator on Etsy. And it's called the Pocket Oracle. And I think Hay House has picked this up now. I think it was Hay House, if I remember correctly. It's just, I think it's 15 cards. This is the backs. I think I did a walkthrough of this, but it's just a few cards, so. And I think it comes with an actual little guidebook now. This didn't come with anything. So that's a kind of handy little one if you want to just carry around with you. It did come with the little bag. I almost couldn't find this. I spent about 2 days looking for this little deck, which held up the video. So there it is. And then the Orion's Tarot deck by Ambi-Sun has been issued now as the Orion's Animal deck, I think. Again, this is the Kickstarter edition. I remember doing the walkthrough on this. It was very hard. It's kind of a, what do they call this? The silver, like Aurora Borealis edging. And a lot of people were having trouble photographing this because some of the cards are very dark and the colors didn't show up very well in people's videos. Oops. Ah! Come back here. So I forget who's put this one out, but you can just, it comes right up on a Google search, so. Next up is the Ethereal Visions, again the Kickstarter edition. It's a 2-part lift-off box. I have number 81 of 1100. There was some heartburn about this deck because apparently the mass market edition was issued before the Kickstarter backers got their decks, or at least some of them. Plain inside the box, but it's a nice hard 2-piece box. Also, there were some of the cards that Matt had said would be exclusive to the Kickstarter edition that ended up being in the mass market edition. So I think this was one of them, the Well. I would have to go back through, like the Artist. These are just extra cards. Card stock is good. I don't think it has any kind of core, it's just that hard paper. I don't really think there's much difference between the Kickstarter edition and the mass market, except possibly the price. I'm sure the mass market is cheaper. I'm pretty sure I've got a walkthrough of this. So it was supposed to be Art Nouveau, but I remember a lot of people complaining about how the colors were so washed out. And I know Art Nouveau had pretty bold colors. Okay, so here's one that actually is the mass market edition, Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinane. I didn't even know until I saw it on Bee's channel that this had ever been an indie deck. There's the backs. Very pretty artwork. Of course, if you don't like crows, this isn't going to be the deck for you. If you can't find walkthroughs of some of these decks on my channel and you want to see one, let me know. That's the Crow Tarot. And my beloved Touchstone Tarot by Cat Black. I don't know if we want to call this an indie version. This was put out by a publisher called Kunati, who I believe is now out of business, and US Games has picked up the deck. But we'll go ahead and put it in, just because this is a version that cannot be had anymore. In the backs. think I like these darker borders. The new borders are a lighter brown. I think the darker color sets it off, but I guess they had to change it for the sake of copyright or something. Okay, so I actually meant to show this one right after the Light Seers because this also is the Kickstarter edition of the Muse Tarot that was included in the same campaign, and I sprang for both decks. It's got the peach edging, actually pretty orange. Here's the backs of this one. So yeah, probably everybody's seen that one. If you haven't seen it, I know I've got walkthroughs of both the Light Seers and the Muse. And we'll see if we can get through this last one before my battery dies. Sacred Mothers and Goddesses by Claudia Olivos. This got picked up, I think, by Hay House a year or two ago. So I bought this directly from Claudia. Or Claudia, I'm sorry. I think I've mispronounced her name. And she had put a little sage leaf in the box with beautiful mirror gold edging. And I know I did a walkthrough of this. The backs. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Absolutely beautiful. So, I think that is all my decks that started out as indie and went mass market. So I hope that was interesting. And I will talk to you soon. Blessed be.